protesting right now at the Old Trafford Stadium. And they're protesting against the Glazers families and hesitance in selling off the club. And that's the story from there. We'll take a look at the movement for Caicedo. He's been touted by Arsenal, Chelsea, and of course Manchester United. Where next for Moises Caicedo? That's the question. Well, in that same he's really close, inches close to joining AC Milan, and of course begins his sojourn in Italy. That's the story from there. Well, today with X-Ray Arsenal, we'll take a look at their departures, their arrivals, and what they need to do, the kind of signings they need to make in the summer transfer market, and the kind of players we think that would work for them in that team. Lost the latest in the Manchester United takeover conversation, and of course take you through what's happening in that club. Oh, this is so much for it's going to be a bite, of course, from the part of the conversation. Good afternoon and welcome to the Football Fans Attack again. My name is Marizona, reporting for GT. Together we'll do justice to everything we have in store for you. 2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565 will give you the chance to be a part of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live. C'est la vie. Road right now, we're beginning from the home scene. The team manager of Shooting Star Sports Club Ibadan, Dimeji Lawal, stated unequivocally, I had a problem, and there's a video I saw, guys, on social media. This man trying to pronounce unequivocally, and you don't want to know what he said. Well, the team manager of Shooting Stars said the club held meeting and duly informed the players whose contract ended the season about the non-renewal. Over the weekend, social media space went agog when multiple tweets insinuated that 7 players of the club were laid off impromptu via WhatsApp group. And according to the stories we're tracking right now, Shooting Stars have said, well, that is not true. And they had told these players that they were not going to be a part of the team going forward. It's a conversation we used to hear on a consistent basis in Nigeria, where you're sacked or you're put off or laid off, if you like, through WhatsApp messages, text messages, and all of that. But Shooting Stars were allegedly going to do that, but right now the story is that is definitely not true. Talk to us about the need to even make sure that issues like this are not even part of conversations, like.
Quite disappointing, because we all start with the foundation of these issues. Contract to have contracts in the Nigerian Premier Football League.
Exactly.
Recently, I was hearing that the Super 8 is coming up. The Super 8 competition is coming up after the qualifiers. And guess what? Players are beginning to move from clubs to clubs on a short-term deal.
Super 8.
And it doesn't make sense. Especially the target is moving to Katsina United. And I'm beginning to think about it. What kind of deal is that? Is that a 2-month deal or what? It doesn't make sense to me. But it goes on to show the movement in the Nigerian Premier League, the lack of organization when it has to do with contracts, and that's basically the story. And the biggest problem has always been that of players' union that we've talked about. We do not have an adequate players' union. The NFF is not looking forward to the life of these players and the conditions that they have. That has been the conversation, and it's quite disheartening. Realizing that this is coming to limelight, Murray, because lots of clubs are doing this. And you really look at it, what is the contract terms of most of the transfers we have in the Nigerian Premier League? Definitely, there are undisclosed contract terms.
And sadly, this is a conversation we have to fix. It's like Bladen talked about. We are hearing a story that the man Joseph Atule has left Lobby Stars to join up with Katsina United. And Atule, who last week was linked to the move to Rose United, showed why he's one of the most sought after players. But he left Lobby Stars to join Katsina United. And the question is if he's staying on a more consistent basis, or this is a move. And we should start outlining the terms of people's contracts at the NPFL level. You go to Europe, they'll tell you this man has signed a 2-year contract. This is what he's earning. Sometimes they tell you the sign-on fee and all of that, but we don't get to see that in the NPFL. And we're talking about developing our league. These issues are what is keeping us where we are right now.
The lack of transparency has brought a lot of issues in the club activities with the players, and it is bringing a lot of controversies as well between players and clubs, because in terms like this, you're supposed to know, the journalists and media is supposed to have access to what the details of the contracts are, what entails, the years, the amount of time there, the bonuses and everything.
Even some performance-based bonuses should also be stipulated.
Absolutely. It's very important that this information is this men, they are doing a lot of work for us. It's a pure business you're doing here, and transparency is one of the keys to having a successful business. And of course, if you can't give that transparency, definitely, if on the league stage, a team can't give that transparency, they are not being monitored. That's the problem. Just like you mentioned, the players union, we don't have a valuable players union here who speaks up for the players, or who can stand up for the players in terms of all cases or issues at all. We've had certain players, just like Aqua United, we almost have issues with players almost every season. It's like a normal thing. So I think at this point in time, it's really necessary that the NFF or the FA, they really have to come up with something to be able to curb these issues, because it's getting to be like an embarrassing situation every time it comes up. It gets to be very embarrassing.
Yeah, definitely embarrassing if you ask me. Well, of course, Joseph Atule made 10 goal contributions to the just completed PFL and set to sign a 2-year contract with the Chianji boys, and that's the story from there. Well, I know you have a friend who plays for Plateau United, right? Well, by the way, Ifyok Johnson is here on the show. Ifyok is the voice behind the late night chit chat, and of course the morning show with Mary Joseph, and he's a Manchester United fan. He's come here to protest. He cannot travel to Old Trafford, so he's protesting here live on the show. Right, so welcome Ifyok to the show. Before we talk about your United, I know you have a friend who plays for Rangers Football Club, and does he talk about these issues to you as to lack of transparency in movement of players from club to club, and if it's a loan fee, if it's a permanent deal, does he complain these issues to you?
Well, yes, we've had conversations over time. Even yesterday, we spoke about something which I won't want to disclose here on the show.
You tell me after the show, then,
after the show,
and I'll tell them.
Yes, you tell them for sure. Now, there's no transparency in the transfer windows in the Nigeria Professional Football League.
Yeah.
Now, we have had issues where players being loaned to another club are now being sold from that club to somewhere else that we don't know. There are cases.
No, let me understand.
You take, for instance, Aqua United loaned the player to Dakada. Now Dakada sold that player without even letting the club to know.
The real owners of the player.
Yes. We have seen issues like that happen. And we keep on asking this question: why are we not seeing the contracts on the floor of the media spaces? We need to know how much was this player bought for, how much does he earn. Yes, even if you're earning 1,000 naira in a day or in a month, let's just know, let's the transparency come in the games. We can't keep having issues like that and we say we want to be professional, and the next thing we'll now run a league, and the next moment we are seeing players moving from left, right, center. A league from here, a player is being sold from Dakar United, for instance, to a club in the UK, and you don't know what's going on.
All right, Murray, now that it's mentioned about sales of player, let me just add an issue. It gets even worse because it's a foundational problem. It gets even worse. Do you imagine that many clubs that are not highly rated, for example, they put in a lot of work. I mean, local clubs now, they're not highly rated, and maybe they have a coach who's running the affairs of that particular club. Well, you can't say there are big academies as one, but do you realize that coaches at the lowest level don't earn anything after helping develop players for a long time, and these players get to bigger clubs and nothing at the end of it? It's a foundational problem that needs to be sorted out.
I think it's actually very, very sad that we hope to get something better. Well, speaking of players leaving, Maurice Chuku, the name rings a serious bell. The combating midfielder, the former Akwa United man, has announced his decision to quit Rivers United and continue his career elsewhere. The midfielder made the announcement yesterday on Facebook and has also sent a message to the fans of Rivers United. Well, it's a really long message. I wouldn't want to read all of that, but he was in action for Rivers United and even scored the winning goal at the Niger Super 8 playoffs when Bendel Insurance FC over Bendel Insurance Round on Sunday. And of course, he's been an ever-present member of the Egoma side. Maurice Chukwu's decision to quit the club comes as a serious surprise because he's been with the club for 2.5 years. Right now, since leaving the club mid-season to join Akwa United. But right now, he's decided abruptly to quit the club. When things like this happen naturally, the indication is maybe he's got a concrete offer elsewhere, maybe in the abroad and all of that. But talk to us about Maurice Chuku and where could be the likeliest destination for the man.
Well, Maurice Chuku, he's been a fantastic player this season, not to say the least. I think he's had a very fantastic campaign with Rivers United, and he was able to shine very well during the CAF Confederations Cup, especially. I think he was able to attract a lot of top shots from that competition. He performed excellently well, and of course, you could feel his impact in the game because even when they couldn't play against young boys. Even when he couldn't play against young boys, it was very hard for them to keep up with the tempo. And of course, you could tell that if he was there on the pitch, he would have made a lot of difference. He's a very fantastic player, moves the ball very well, scores a lot of goals for fun. So I think it comes to me as no surprise that he's been able to secure a move, and I'm very, very absolutely.
But it's not confirmed yet. We just know he's left Rivers United.
You're not leaving Rivers United to go and stay home, of course. You're living there to secure a better move, of course, and it's clear that this is what's going to happen. So I'm really excited for him, and of course I pray that the next move. I think we know a lot of players don't really leave Nigerian clubs and make it really much, especially in the African scene. But I pray he makes it well. Yeah,
the man has showed class and quality, especially that season Rivers United won the title. He was a key member of that side. Wish him the very best, and we hope that he gets himself on track and of course continues what has been an illustrious football career for the man. Well, according to the reports we're getting, the man has no less than 4 clubs within and outside the country interested in getting this man. Well, before we take our first match, of course, Nigerian forward Akiwumi Amo, his elder brother, has debunked a report of his sibling being sentenced to prison in Denmark. Sunday, Amo, his brother, in a chat with journalists in Tuesday, dismissed his jail sentencing report. He said, and I quote, "I just spoke with Aki Amo Sunday on the phone. The news about his conviction to jail is not the correct narrative." And of course, according to the journalist, that Sunday said Akinkumi was not sent to jail, and neither was the house arrest or travel ban on him as he was in his home in Denmark while the case remains in court. Unfortunately, his brother says the case is a blackmail and they'll continue to fight for justice. And that's the story from there. Well, he's 21, was sentenced by Copenhagen court on Friday to 1 year imprisonment for sexual assault. Blyden Salvi, similar to the Mason Greenwood story, and we know what has become of Greenwood's career, although Greenwood was convicted and of course he was found guilty and all of that. But here is a young Nigerian, 21 years of age, started his career at the country, broke out at the under-17 competition, and of course traveled to Denmark. And we're talking about sexual assault as a youngster.
Especially a black man, quite bad for him.
Yeah, in Europe, I was thinking he would focus more on playing football.
Well, come on, we can't conclude what really happened at the end of it.
All right.
The brother saying it's a blackmail, but it's quite sad that the stories surrounding him is that of rape. We know the stigma that comes with it, especially for a black man moving forward. And at some point, I remember Akiwumi, when he was drafted to the Super Eagles at the time,
the national
it was a talk of time. Everyone was interested in him, and we're expecting he'll have a second stint with the Super Eagles, despite being on the bench at the time. But it's not really worked out for him. 1 year span now, it's been talks of going to court. I never can tell what could happen moving forward. But I really hope is not what I think it is, because it would be so bad for him. When I heard the news, I knew that it can't be correct, because when he's saying a red case and is being sentenced for 1 year imprisonment, it didn't add up for me. It did not add up at all.
That's the story. Well, we hope that justice finds its course in this man's career, and we all know the stigma that's attached to cases like this. We hope that he finds justice. I'm almost going to say in the name of Jesus. Amen. It will take a batch, of course. Here when we come back, we'll talk everything from the European scene, where the Manchester United fans, especially Philip Johnson here, protested the Glazer ownership. We'll also talk about what's happening from the transfer scene, Kylian available amid Bayern interest. Real Madrid are still hoping of signing Kylian Mbappe. We hear that West Ham rejected Manchester City's £90 million bid for Declan Rice. All of that from the conversation after this batch of calls. 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Victor is our first caller for the afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, the Maradona.
Victor, yeah, how about me, man?
There's so much talking point in the local scene, especially the issue of Coach Joseph Batero. It's renewal of his contract. I wanted to say that this man is he as a coach, because everybody has their own swag and what they're trying to put in when you say all this affects. So my own is, will this man, if he said Joseph Batero staying in Nigeria, scout the home base players, go to the NGFL venue, will get that player who can win the AFCON. So the NFF have a lot of responsibility to do. As for the boy United, I have known that the boy has begun preparation for the new season. Last season was that nice. Even the coach that was with that team wasn't performed well. My own worry is for the club, the chairman of Aqua, for them to tell us and another the player that they want to sign, how this player has been free and his performance. We should not bring players through the back door. At the end, when the thing is not working the way we plan, so
all right.
So
thank you, Victor.
That's my
Thank you very much, Victor, for talking to us. 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. This is Victor. Yes.
This is Victor calling from Rivers.
Okay, what is fine, Victor? How is River State today?
Yeah, it's cool. Is it raining over there?
It is raining seriously, cat and dog, actually.
Over here also.
All right, go ahead, Victor.
I heard that something is going on in Manchester United, Old Trafford. If I can find my way down there, even I will even love them to protest from now to the ending of the month, so that they will know that fans are angry. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Victor, for talking to us. Back-to-back Victors on the show this afternoon. Welcome, another Victor. Yes. Please go ahead, brother.
I'm just so sorry for Amo, because the player I like the most. I followed him when he was at Hamadi before he went to Copenhagen, so I know him very well. If he has done everything, I don't get a so strategic and get the authority. He don't have done that. Then the Nigerian football and Nigerian football is the two things that they will do to solve that problem. One, player union. Two, and then the NFA should put themselves into this thing. Then three, league management companies should put themselves. Those are the three things that they should do. That Nigeria, we will know the kind of corruption that our players do. It's just want a 1 week transfer. 1 week. 1 week. What you read this 1 week? Something that we have never ever in our life paid before. In other African leagues, we are paid in Nigerian league. Very, very terrible.
Thank you.
Our league is not organized.
Thank you very much.
So we should organize our league, not in 60 only or in match weekend, but in everything, such as contract.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Hello, good afternoon to you.
Ezekiel Ekaiden. All right, you just called to say hi. Hi to you too. Well, thank you very much, Top Gunner. Alright, so I think we should squeeze in one more call before we talk about the transfer stories. We'll take a look at the Chelsea clouds because it continues. Good afternoon, welcome. Yeah, Victor for the second time.
Jesus, have you ever heard in your lifetime that the side player won't be contract?
Yeah, brother, I used
Ever in your life, ever happened in the football history? Nigeria.
my brother, it is what it is. 90 million pound bid for Declan Rice. City's offer was thought to have included an 80 million pound initial payments for the short of the 100 million pound valuation that West Ham wants. Arsenal expected to make a third bid for Declan Rice later in the coming days. Arsenal's second proposal was initial 875 million pounds and 15 in Ireland, and was turned down by West Ham United. Well, Rice's contract expires next year, although it has the option for a 1-year extension until 2025. Now, it's a conversation we've been talking about for the past couple of days. If you want this man, sign this man. Tomorrow tomorrow you come and say that they hijacked it from you.
Right. You shouldn't even be thinking about it too much.
100 million pounds is okay.
Look at Real Madrid. They didn't even go too much talks about Jude Bellingham's business. It was
Straight to the point.
Bring him. Does he want to come? Yes. Pay the money. That is all.
Right.
So I don't see any reason why they should be going back and forth. They have the resources and everything to do all these things. I don't think it should be something that should be dragging much time. You have the funds. You have the resources. The guy has proven himself. Europa Conference League winner. What else do you need?
I think there's always a point to this. When it comes to teams in England, they have this attitude of always putting their hands in every soup that they see. On the Spanish league, they go straight to the point.
Get the business done.
And close up shop. But you see Manchester City, Manchester United, you see they are linked to this and linked to this, linked to this.
For the record, I don't put my hands in every soup. I choose my soup, I put my hands in
I think
it.
it's an Arsenal thing.
Yeah,
When Chelsea wants to buy, they buy.
yeah, if just want to buy, they buy.
When City wants to buy, they buy.
Yeah, I think the two teams that do that thing is Arsenal and Manchester United.
Manchester United used to. United used to buy.
Manchester United, they bid
players
for
are
everyone.
linked to United, but most of these players are not even on the radar of the Manchester United team.
I think the biggest problem these days has been the financial fair play for most of the English teams because they're on the radar, yes.
Oh, Arsenal are not known to be big spenders.
Arsenal are not big spenders. Arsenal are prizers. They know how to prize.
All right, that's a conversation. Well, the latest for the Chelsea fans is that Ruben Loftus-Cheek is close to joining AC Milan. He's 27. Has played England caps rather. Has been at Chelsea since he was a very young boy. Has had loans in the Crystal Palace and Fulham. In his time, he's won 2 Premier League titles at Chelsea, the FIFA Club World Cup, and the UEFA Super Cup. A handful of players have left Chelsea this summer. Well, right, so
How much?
we'll check that out. There's no price fee yet. We'll check that out. About
Around 15 to 16
million pounds, right? So,
Seriously, the Italian teams, you know how they do business. They don't pay much.
now, Blyden, here's the conversation. N'Golo Kante, Koulibaly, Kovacic, Ziyech, Mendy, now Loftus-Cheek. Havertz is on his way to Arsenal. Pulisic is also on his way out. Missing Mounts too. The Chelsea clouds continues, and these are established names, Blyden.
Yeah, we already know about the cloud of Chelsea. It's typical of what Todd Bradley wants. It's Chelsea now. It's under 25. That's a conversation about the Chelsea Football Club now. Under 25. When you get past 25, you have no business in that club. The cloud continues, but a good thing for Loftus-Cheek for me right now is that it's going to another big club, AC Milan. One of the big clubs, or the biggest clubs you could think of when it has to do with Serie A football. And it brings back the conversation we've always talked about. Should a young player go to a big club? If Loftus-Cheek was still playing in around West Ham and all the smaller clubs, he wouldn't be at AC Milan. Potentially, as we're talking about, the advantage of playing in the big club, and that's it for Loftus-Cheek. Many people say he's been a terrible player for Chelsea. I think he's not been that dominant player expected when he looked at that talent. I remember John Obi Mikel at the time, and Loftus-Cheek coming out. He's been around for a while at Chelsea, but when it has to do with performance, he's not been totally terrible.
Now, people say he goes in there and replaces Sandro Tonali. Do you think he would do the job Sandro used to do at AC Milan? We know Sandro Tonali is leaving to join Newcastle.
He can't do that job. He can't do it. He's not that good as Sandro Tonali. That's just the fact. Just face it the way it is.
Right, so let's be a lot more specific. What exactly? What are words and what does Sandro Tonali do at AC Milan?
No, the thing is, you're supposed to be talking about Loftus-Cheek. He's a very good player. He's an utility player. He can fit into any position at the point, and I think he's one of the players. I think it's one of the good things I admire about AC Milan. That's one of the good things about AC Milan. Most of the players are utility players. They pick in players from different clubs and try to train them in different positions, make them as good as they should be. So I think it's one of the good things. Sandro Tonali is a very big name. You could see what he did up to the semi-finals of the Champions League. So I think we haven't seen Loftus-Cheek perform in such level.
All right, 16 million euros and 4 million euros in add-ons for Loftus-Cheek to AC Milan, and that's a conversation from here. Well, according to several reports, right, we're hearing that Bayern Munich have reached an agreement to sign Harry Kane. And the German club have now reached an agreement with Tottenham over a fee. We don't know that fee yet, but if you're Johnson, now let me shock you. If Harry Kane had joined Leicester, he was on loan at Leicester City at some point in his young career. If he had joined Leicester City, he would have 3 trophies now to his name. For all the goals he scored, no trophies. Over 30. Now, talk to us about the potentiality of this deal, and if it works out, what it will mean for Harry Kane at Bayern Munich too.
Harry Kane is one player that we have also known he has been linked to so many clubs. At the end of every season, he was one time linked to Real Madrid, he was one time linked to Manchester United, Man City also came calling, and a lot of teams also come calling. But what is always the issue at the diamond is you just hear, he signed another contract with Tottenham. I think it's a back and forth relationship with Tottenham. If he wants to leave, now Harry Kane scored 20 plus goals. That amount of goals is something that wins.
He scored 30.
30.
He scores 20 plus.
20 plus each season. Now that amount of goals brings you trophies. It brings you winning trophies. Imagine the same Harry Kane being in a Man City team. I think it would just be a goal galore for everyone.
All right. That's a conversation from there. Blyden?
Let me have a bite at it.
Let's take a bite.
According to Tottenham, Tottenham rejected the bid from Bayern Munich because it's just £60 million at the moment, and they're expecting improved bid from Bayern Munich if they're really interested in Harry Kane. There's also this conversation about breaking this man's record. What's the name now? Former Newcastle striker. Highest record in the English Premier League. Alan Shearer, 260 goals. Harry Kane has scored 216 goals in the English Premier League at the moment. But come on, Mary. We know that Harry Kane is not moving to Bayern Munich. It's typical of that conversation. Bayern Munich are not ready to spend huge amounts of money. Season after season, we've seen Bayern Munich, they've not been spending money in the transfer market. Biggest money they spent, you could think of maybe this man, Lewandowski at a time. Yeah. So you look at this as a conversation. And another man to talk about.
The money Bayern spent was De Ligt.
Yeah, 75 million.
Yeah.
De Ligt. And of course, Lucas Hernandez at some point, 65 million pounds.
Yeah. But we look at the market now with Harry Kane and that standing. We know Danny Levy wouldn't accept that kind of money for Harry Kane. It's been the conversation. Such a tough man to negotiate with, but we're back at it. The coming days we'll get to find out what gets to happen.
Right, so forward. Inter Milan are preparing a new bid for Romelu Lukaku, likely another season-long loan with an option to buy for 30 million euros. Chelsea wants an obligation to buy instead, but the feeling is the deal can be done. I want to push out Lukaku as early as possible and as quick as possible. Now, David De Gea, because it's a conversation about David De Gea. Well, he's agreed to lower United. He's agreed to lower his salary, and it's yet to be agreed. But right now, here in Saudi Arabia, are showing interest in David De Gea. And I can feel it crazy. Let him go, guys. And what we're hearing about the football fans, we're seeing clips already. Pictures on social media. The banner is simple, Blyden. Glazers out, and it's been a statement that has mirrored the state of mind of the Manchester United fans for the past couple of years, and this is due to the way this family has run the club in course the worst of fashions, in the most unpalatable of ways, if you like. And right now there's a saving grace for Manchester United. 2 bidders have come forward to buy off the club. Sheikh Jassim has the most eye-catching, most attractive and profitable bid for United, whilst Jim Ratcliffe, the Englishman, also has a good deal for United, but the Glazer family are yet to agree to letting off the club. What exactly is the problem? And why are they putting United fans like if you're Johnson through so much heartbreak?
Well, I wouldn't want to know. First of all, I think I'll explain why United fans need the Glazers to go. What has the Glazer or have the Glazers really done wrong? That's a conversation for me.
Right.
Because they're not as bad as Scott Bartley. You look at Manchester United over time, they've been making few good signings into the club. Maybe they stuck with some bad coaches from my standpoint, but beyond that, they brought in some decent coaches also to the side. Jose Mourinho has been part of that mix, and name it, any coach you want to talk about. And now they wanted Erik ten Hag. They've got Erik ten Hag. In terms of profitability,
I'll tell you.
the club is highly profitable.
I'll tell you, Blyden, they have a debt of £150 million in total. Right?
It's not because of the Glazers.
Well, here's the thing.
But every club, Marizona, every club has a debt.
The thing is,
It's a conversation.
The Glazer family, you know, they take debt out of United and service, you know, their own personal debts. You know, it's
our club.
That's understood. But
every club does the same.
it's understood, Blyden, but of course, football fans have got emotional affiliations to this football club, and you have to do better.
Well, the reason I'm asking the question because we've got two Manchester United fans here,
Yeah.
and each time they say that the Glazers should be out. I do not understand why they want the Glazers out. They're making signings. They're having good coaches.
Let's listen
on
to
the
them.
other hand.
If you're just, I'll start with you. Why do you want the Glazer family out
I think they've been there for too long. That's just it.
for too long? All right. Well, Florentino Perez has been at Real Madrid for how many years now? Going to 30 years.
Have we seen the results?
That's
Yes,
the
we've seen the
precedent.
results.
Yeah, Real Madrid.
No,
Winning
but we've seen
trophies.
the results.
You cannot compare the Galactico with what Madrid is with what Manchester.
Okay, so what the question is?
Before
the question is,
before the
what
Glazers.
are the Glazers doing wrongly?
Before the Glazers even took over Manchester United,
2005.
2005, there were a lot of issues back then, a lot of controversies. Even some former senior players had to even, go into it and, try to convince the fans. I think there were some other people who were interested in buying it as well. But then the Glazers were not the preferred people to run the club by the fans, and I think it has been the issue from day one. So I think right now they've been at the club for more than 17 years or up to 17 years, and I think we've seen where it's been since Sir Alex left. I think the legacy has been gone. The glory has dropped, and it's unlike a fan it's unlike what we see or what we've known Manchester United to be. What was holding the club together between the fans and the Glazers was Sir Alex, and that vacuum hasn't been filled since he left. And of course, it's really like someone like me. I'm mentally affected because I love Manchester United so much. And for the past 5 years we haven't been at the glory of football like the way we used to be.
Now, Blyden, the conversation is now. Let's understand something. Things haven't been bad for United from the start, from the get-go of the Glazers' reign. All of this is a conversation in the post-Alex Ferguson era.
Murray, let me tell you something. The only problem Manchester United have is that they're looking for bigger spenders. Manchester City had new owners and they're spending more money.
That is not correct.
And they're the dominant team now in the English Premier League. Chelsea had a new owner at the time, and they became dominant. It's the conversation.
So what did
Before
they
it
need?
was just about one light, Manchester United and Sir Alex Ferguson getting the best players in the English Premier League and spending money and winning trophies. It's changed. The club is making money. They're making signings. What they're looking for, everyone is talking about the Qatari. They want a dominant presence in the English Premier League, which is spending money and winning trophies.
It hasn't been that way. Sir Alex didn't really spend much money.
Come on,
If you want to
come
look
on.
about- If you really want to look about it.
But you want to talk
Who
about
spent in the English Premier League more than Sir Alex?
Time. From the class of 92, those were home-based players. We brought them up for a very long time, more than 10 years.
How about the class of 2013?
The class of 2013, they really 2013. What do you want to call about Van Persie?
Signed from Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal's best striker.
Berbatov.
Dimitar Berbatov.
Let's name them. The moment there's a solid player in a team.
You can't really compare such spending to what Manchester City is doing right now.
Okay, so
Then there was no Manchester City.
You can't really compare to what
what you end up doing,
let's understand something.
At the top of world football.
Let's understand something. Now, as a United fan, you want to get back to dominance.
That is what is important.
Right, and that will take money.
absolutely.
Right now, football is about money.
It doesn't really necessarily need to have the money.
If you look at the
You need money.
Real Madrid,
You need money with the right administration.
Real Madrid are where they are because they spend money to get the right players.
they're the richest club in the world.
If you want to talk about money, what is Chelsea doing at the 11th position? you need money with the right administration.
Chelsea are not the richest club in the world.
But the biggest spenders
This season, yes.
So what is the?
Let's have the conversation with Chelsea about money. In the last 20 years, Chelsea has been the most successful.
To prove for it.
Chelsea
season alone was
just make let me make the point.
I want you to land
in the
that
last 20 years, since Abramovich took over Chelsea and they spent money in England, Chelsea, including Manchester United, Manchester City, Arsenal, other clubs in England, Chelsea has been the most successful club in England and Europe.
In terms of trophies.
And the reason is they spend money.
Right.
What are you saying?
You're talking about the past 20 years, of course.
No, absolutely. There was money.
But the dominance,
Manchester United's
dominance has been more than 30 years.
No.
In world football.
Because they spend money.
Without money or not.
Okay, so
the right administration.
I want to get your point. You take the right names over money, or you prefer the two?
Brother, what are you saying? Brother, listen to me. Brother, you need good people to run the money for you. You don't just sit down and do business on your own.
It doesn't change the fact that you need to have the money.
They've been spending the money.
You need good people to run the business.
The only difference is there are competitors now who are also spending big.
All right.
Before now, it was all about.
Let's take calls. 090.
Let's take example of what AC Milan is doing. AC Milan had to let go of Paulo Maldini. But look at where they got to. The semi-final of the Champions League. It's not easy to get, but they still have to let go of him because what?
Is it up to you?
Yeah, it was at the end of the season.
At the end of the season. But you know what I'm saying? Paulo Maldini was part of the team.
He has achieved something that they haven't achieved in a very long time.
All right. Thank you. 090. Let's let the fans have their say. 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. What exactly does the Manchester United fans want with the talk of the Glazer out? And why do they want the Glazers out?
Yes, it is time for
the phone
family
lines.
values to be reintroduced.
Good afternoon.
For parents to pay very keen attention
Yes,
to what the children
name and location.
It is sad enough to know that even from the secondary school
Blyden's man.
young boys and girls are into the habit of drugs, and of course the parents seem to not really know what their children are doing until it gets out of hand. Feel free to join conversations on the Facebook page, Prime Radio 101.1 FM Uyo, and of course the number is 0902 223-1011-017-624-565.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for talking to us.
I think they are mostly all about income because, like today, there's been an increase in my all-time
revenue. Yeah.
They appreciate the trust and people for knowing that the God that they bought is about
Please, could you walk away from your radio set, parliamentarian?
And if you can manage to
I think that's connection there, but do well to try and connect us back. And when you do so, please walk away from your radio set or turn down the volume so that we can have civil conversations as the callbacks will now allow hosts to do that. But just as I was saying before, parliamentarian came through from both house today, the NDLEA is having a work to commemorate the 2024 World Drugs and Trafficking Persons Day.
All right,
and
thank you.
Part of